I said, it's sex standing up with your clothes on. It lasts 3 minutes. The song is 3 minutes. It's safe, it's clean, and you go on. Thousands of people have come through my door. This is not ballroom dancing. This is something downloaded in me, and I teach them how to dance. And I hear somebody go, hello, hello. And I'm like, whoa. And I go to my door, and there was a tall young man, 6'4". Is this your bird? And I went, what? So I'm on a call, and somebody's saying a dama, and the bird doesn't say anything. All of a sudden, the bird's going, and the person in the Zoom's going, what is that? I said, I don't know.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of Cracked Wide Open. I'm Casey Kolodny, Kelly Kolodny's son. This is still the Angel Ladies channel, and we're doing a new series to connect you with our community members. Now, if you haven't seen episode 1, there's going to be a link in the description. You should go ahead and watch that and get caught up with Rebecca. Her interview was so touching, so beautiful. But today, we have something totally different. So, Jennifer, why don't you tell us what we have today?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Austin. So nice to have you with us. Yes, last week, Rebecca's story was so touching and inspiring and heart-opening. And this week, we have Cynthia Glinka, whose story will leave you in wonder because of the sheer amount of synchronicities and magic that just showed up in her life, literally on her doorstep. And it was thing after thing after thing that she opened herself up to and was willing to receive. And so I think you'll be a little wowed hearing her story today, and leave yourself a little room for just some amusement and open to magic.
Yeah, it is such a fun interview. We enjoyed it so much. We were all laughing and hooting and hollering. Remember, the goal of this podcast is to help build our community and connect you with the people there, because when we hear their stories of magic, of healing, it opens something within us as well. So here's another episode of Cracked Wide Open. Let's dive in.
My name is Cynthia, and I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. A little bit about me. I'm from Chicago, in the deep inner city of Chicago. I grew up across the street from factories and railroad tracks, and I always knew that there was something more for me to get away from the factories. Uh, I was raised Catholic 12 years. I used the church that I grew up in as my runway. I was into show business all my life, so I would dress up on all the holidays, and I used the center aisle as my runway to get my communion. And everybody knew it, and I was just out there. I'm a Leo. I was born in the year of the horse. This is the year of the horse. And 22 has been my master number for all of my life. I was born at 1:22 in the morning on August 22nd, and I see 22, 22, 22 everywhere I go. So I really embrace that divine presence of we're here, I'm here, don't worry. I read The Alchemist when I was in high school, and I didn't remember that until just a couple of days ago. So that was where it began, and I was in the plays, I was modeling, I was doing whatever I can as a young beautiful woman. My mother was a beautiful woman. She was Miss America contender, blah blah blah. But to go back to my journey, I was born with Rh negative blood. My brother, a year and a half before me, died. Rh. I was born and was in the hospital 10 days. I had 2 complete blood transfusions and I was the first baby to ever survive Rh negative with this miracle of a complete blood transfusion. I was in the Sun Times, Chicago Sun Times, howling with health. Cynthia Glinka lived. My mother had a third child. Third child died Rh negative. Numerous cousins died of Rh negative. So I didn't know what was going on with this. I was bored, but I was alive. So as I went on through Catholic education, kind of rebelling. I thought of it as my castle, my runway. And then all the people in the pews were my audience. And that's where my brain went as a young person. I met a gentleman when I was 18 years old. I graduated from high school, and he swooped me off my feet. Divine destiny. His name was Doug, and he swooped me out of Chicago, and I came to California. Across country, quite an experience, and landed in San Francisco. For the next 5 years, I was beaten, abused, locked up, shackled, thrown off cliffs. I mean, this man was, I called him the devil now, but he had a name and he was meant to be there. On Friday, August 13th at midnight in 1976, at midnight, the song Elton John's Candle in the Wind, and he kept screaming, "You're a burnt out candle in the wind," and started to completely plummet me. I crawled out of my house to a neighbor I never met. They took me to the hospital, and I had a near-death experience on the table in the operating room, and I remember the lights going by, and I remember then leaving my body. This is 1976. Nobody was talking about this. And I'm over my body watching all of a spleen. He ruptured my spleen, which is located in the lower back. So they had to take all my organs out of my body and so I'm watching everything from above with my organs outside my body from above. And then my mother, and I whooshing, I did the whoosh. I was up above hovering, and I'm seeing all the doctors and my organs. And then my mother appeared, and she's in Chicago. I'm in San Francisco, and she brought me back.
How did she bring you back?
It was
Can you
incredible. I felt the pain of losing her daughter after losing two sons. I mean, the pain was, I couldn't do this to her. I couldn't do this to her. And he did it to me. So it was like a deal. Okay, we're not going to do that. It was a deal.
Wow. So your connection to your mother and essentially your soul contract, that so much happened for you to be here, that in this moment where you could have let go, you knew that it was vital that you needed to be here with your mom at this time, and that's kind of what brought you back from that near-death experience.
I cannot imagine the pain. She probably, I could not imagine her pain of having lost three children and me. No,
Yeah. Unimaginable. So tell us, so what happened when you came back from that near-death experience?
I came back. I was in the hospital. This man was a drug dealer, and he dressed up as a woman and came into my hospital room past the guards because they had guards at my door. He dressed up as a woman to finish me off, and the woman next to me was a rape victim, and she started screaming, and everybody, I got saved. I didn't get, she screamed. And then she tells me about a rape victim is saying there's a battered woman's home that's opening in San Francisco, the first one in the country, and call them. Blah 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 blah. I went to this beautiful. They came and swooped me up in an darkened car, took me away, and I was in the first battered women's shelter called La Casa de las Madres in San Francisco, and that was my safe place. So I'm healing, and here's where my journey begins. Um, I've been an entertainer for my entire career, dancer particularly. I'm walking when I started. I was there for 3 months in the battered woman's home, and I had no money. I was afraid. I was he. I was let out of the hospital on my 22nd birthday. 22, 22.
Wow. So young as well as your magic number. Yeah.
I took a walk one day, and I went to this busy street, and I looked in the storefront, and there was a picture, a huge picture of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. And I'm like, I like live in an old movie, and I always loved old movies. So I walked in, and that's when I started dancing entered my life. And so it changed my entire world. And as I healed from the experience, I cosmic collisions, I call it, colliding with people that, was trajectory of to where I'm going to go. And a year later, I walked into a very, I liked big band music. And I walked into a place and there was a 14-piece orchestra. And that's where I met my Fred Astaire, AC. And I've been dancing with AC for 42 years now, and,
Wow.
it's just been wonderful. So, I moved all through this career, and I came up teaching choreography, films, television, and, it's all about me, 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 me. I had to always be me, me. Who's gonna do my hair? Who's gonna do my face? Who's gonna blah, 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 blah. And I was so, it was very intense to be out in the public and all the scrutiny that one gets in the public persona. I gotta tell you, my journey has been quite remarkable, and I'm I'm now dancing with the divine, and that's my main focus. I always buried it in my website. I buried everything. I'm teaching, teaching, and I'll tell you about that magical in a moment. But I had dancing with the divine buried in my website. And then people started finding it and they go, now we know why you're who you are. Now we know. And I'm like, okay, so I'm putting it up front. Thousands of people have come through my door. This is not ballroom dancing. This is something downloaded in me because of the abuse that I took for the man, the first love of my life, and how I survived 5 years of that. I started teaching couples how to dance because men don't know how to dance with us. Women, we got the gene. We got the soul train. Men, now I developed this journey that still do today. I teach couples who are getting married or in love, or people who've been married 40 years, or gentlemen want to find a date, go out, learn how to dance. They come to me and I teach them how to dance guaranteed in 2 hours. And they're like, no. And I can do it now in 45 minutes. And I stand behind them and I kind of do, and they're all like, and and they dance out the door. And it's such a trip because I can see it just becoming a reality. And for them, I never see him again. It's not like take a foxtrot swing, tango, rumba, waltz. No, 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 no. If you can walk, you can dance. Men, just ask them what would you like to dance, and the women will just melt. I mean, they melt. This is what it's just, and it's a human experience.
So, Cynthia, tell us a little bit more about what it means to you to dance with the divine.
After being, my relationships with men were a little My dance partner, 42 years, safe space. And I was here to heal men who hurt me. That one hurt me. And now my gift is to get you guys off your butts and dance with us. In this kind of dance, not this kind of dance, but it's a beautiful thing. It's truly a remarkable experience.
What do you think the main block is that you deal with when people are struggling to dance?
Nobody's ever showed them. Women have it. I taught thousands of young sixth graders how to dance, called social skills and dance, social dance. Thousands of young sixth graders until COVID. The pandemic hit, my whole business shut down. I couldn't touch people. I couldn't talk to people. I couldn't speak. So things had changed. So my opening of my spiritual window kind of opened up bigger because of the isolation during that period.
Can you tell us just a little bit about what you shared with me? You talked about how some of these men that had never danced before, once they understood that it was just making love, standing up, they wanted to sign up right away because it was just about the connection. And you delighted in getting to help them understand that. Can you talk about that just a minute?
When we were talking about that, that came out of my mouth and your eyeballs just popped out of your head. And I said, it's sex standing up with your clothes on. That's what's going to sell it to the men. Sex. Standing up with your clothes on. It lasts 3 minutes. The song is 3 minutes. It's safe. It's clean. And you go on. And I said that and I've kind of, and your face just beamed. So, that's because I've been wondering, where am I going next? And what am I going to do to culminate this? And it's been a journey, and that's when I'd like to, segue into the how did I find Kelly?
Yeah, I was just gonna add because you also connected it to their heart. You said you put energy behind them and you would send energy to their heart center behind them as you were helping guide them do this. And that's how you likened it to me. And I just felt into the softening of these men or the couples. And especially when you talked about where you lived next to the prison and what you were even doing with that whole component. And it
Yeah.
just felt like a whole softening coming out of the abuse you once experienced. We were transmuting that through your dance, is how I interpreted some of what you were sharing, but please correct me if, um, I didn't get that right.
You're pretty correct, Jennifer. Thank you. Um, Example, I had a couple on Sunday. They both work for AI, artificial intelligence, high tech people. You could see they're high tech. And I stood behind Bobby, and I, just kind of invoked this because they were tech people and they always think so much. And he kept turning around. And then at the end, I used the word, never used it. I said, Bobby, give it 24 hours. What I shared with you is going to download. And tomorrow morning, get up, say, honey, would you like to dance? And you'll get it right there. And he understood because he says, why did you use download? High tech guy. I said, I don't know. I've never used it before. So that was just last Sunday. And he was dancing in 45 minutes. I mean, we're talking spins and dips and all kinds of stuff.
That's so lovely. Yeah, so that's that there's so much magic all in exactly what you do. So tell us a little bit about when you found Kelly.
Well, this is interesting too. Um, in 1987, after all of that experience, and I was right in my career, very out there, and a great dance career going. I was scooped up by four women and took to Mount Shasta for the harmonic convergence. And I don't know how I got up there. I don't know who got me up there, but I was there. And there was a ridge of hundreds of people looking at the beautiful mountain, and somebody on a speaker telling us what to do. And we all had to take leaves from the bushes, and we all held the leaves and invoked, all your troubles in these leaves, all your human experience in the leaves. And I'm following the leader. I'm a good follower. And I'm holding these leaves, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, and she opened her hand, and a wind came and swirled all these leaves everywhere in front of us, down the ridge, up in front of us. And I was like, okay, I haven't thought of that in a long time until I found a group on Zoom, and they are from Telos. And I never heard of Telos. I never saw I don't know it. I found these squares of these people from all over the country talking about Telos. And that was just this year. So it all kind of made sense. So I was sent a YouTube video of Kelly. I said, okay. And then everybody was they bought the full membership. All these gals in the squares were able to afford and easily do that. And then one gal said, I am called to do this. Her name was Ursula. This was 4 months ago, so it's current. She was awarded 2 free months to gift to someone, and she gifted 1 month to me. And I knew that the death code was coming up. And I was like, oh no. I died, probably died when I was born, died again, been thrown off cliffs, survived, you know, oh no, 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 no. Well, I did. So I'm in watching the death code. I don't know what series, and Jennifer will know this. All of a sudden they say, we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to spin the wheel and we're going to give away a session of death code past life regression. And I'm like, okay. So they spin the boom. If you're here, say I'm here. So I'm 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not up yet. And this woman goes, I'm here. And then all of a sudden she disappeared. And then everybody's going, well, where'd she go? Oh, okay. Kelly says, well, we're going to spin the wheel again. Cynthia Glinka. And I went, whoa. And I'm here. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to push. That morning, I was going to have my first encounter on a Zoom with Candace. And I discovered the 15-minute call. I'd like to do a 15-minute call. And who shows up? Jennifer. At 9 o'clock that morning. This was last week. She's on there. I'm going, and she's telling me about her her collisions of dancing and her energy. And I was just blah, blah, blah. So that is kind of how I found Kelly. And I went through the death code, and it was so profound to me. And I just want to tell one little story because I don't know which. I think it was day 10 of the death code. April 19th, I'm in my office. Beautiful day on the bay here. And 6 o'clock in the evening, and I hear somebody go, hello, hello. And I'm like, whoa. And I go to my door, and there was a tall young man, 6'4". Is this your bird? And I went, what? And the bird was picking at it, and he's bleeding. Is this your bird? And I'm looking, going, no. I said, where'd you find the bird? And he said, across the street at the beach. Can you help me? Is this your bird? And I'm going, and he's bleeding. And I'm like, my landlord had a cage. I knew he had a cage. I called him upstairs. Said, Dave, you got a cage? And he goes, and so he brought it down. In 5 minutes, I got a beautiful Victorian cage. This man comes in, puts the bird in the cage. And I said, young man, what is your name? And he goes, Zane. I said, no, okay. And he says, well, I got to go. I watched him leave my steps. I live from 2 blocks from the state prison of California, where used to be 900 men incarcerated, 2 blocks from my house. I watched this young man, leave and get into a car with blacked out windows and going to the prison, and there's a dead end. I never saw him come out. So I'm like tripping out. Okay, I got the bird, got to see the bird. I never used Siri. I was sitting there going, I asked Siri, I said, Siri, what does the name Zane mean? Gift from God. I fell on my face. I went, whoa. And then I realized in this Telos group, I'm looking at their website, which I never looked at, and there was a rendition of a translucent man who looked like him, the guy at the door. And then I'm on a call, and then I said, who's that guy? They go, Adama. I go, I never heard of Adama. So I'm on a call, and somebody's saying Adama, and the bird doesn't say anything. All of a sudden, the bird's going, and the person in the Zoom's going, what is that? I said, I don't know. She said, I said, say it again. Adama. This is all 3 weeks ago, folks. That's how I found Kelly. That's how I found the spin the wheel, spin the wheel. I was like, well, I don't know. Spin the wheel. Wow.
Thousands of people out of thousands of people. So one thing that I just want to mention for people listening, just to give them a little bit of extra context, the harmonic convergence in 1987 is when Kelly, my mom, started channeling, and Mount Shasta is a mountain that has been a huge part of her spiritual experience, going there and working with the beings that live in Mount Shasta in the city of Telos, where Adama is, and all of these things, just so that everybody has the full context of the full magic and synchronicity of what Cynthia, shared with us today. So, Cynthia, last question. Tell us a little bit about what you believe the shift in consciousness on the planet is going to look like, and what your part is to play in that.
I'm looking for a platform to reach all the men on the planet that what women want ask me to dance. Would you like to dance? We wait for this our whole lives. Would you just do this? Would you like to dance? And it'll bring people together. And I'm looking and down, hope this is my platform of and finding all of my soul tribe and getting on a soul train. I'm getting on a soul train, and I'm just going to share it with people, all ages. And I thought I was over. I thought everything was done for me after the pandemic. I thought the door closed, and now it's eking open. Um, the year of the horse is my year to giddy up, get going, and here I am today. So coming from love, I work. What a wonderful thing! I work with people in love. They're so in love because they're getting married, and then the woman just, I tell you, beams. And the guys, whoa, is this what all it takes? I mean, would you like to dance?
Right.
Standing up with your clothes on. Yeah.
So waking people up to the love that they can make, standing up, moving, having a good time. And yeah, it's so beautiful. Because then again, it's also not this. This. Yeah, it's the same theme again of like allowing everybody to kind of drop all of the blocks and all of the stuff that's getting in the way of just having a beautiful relationship with another person that is fun, that is light and liberating, right?
Yes. It's so funny because kids go into the bear hug, in high school, and they do the slow dancing. And that's when they get the first touch. Oh, 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 oh. But here, when you get stand back and they get to look at them, then I say your hearts are aligned. Your beating is one. And they're like, wow. Oh, okay. It's not bear hug. It's not trying to get a feel. It's just, making the woman feel like a queen.
Feel seen.
I do want
Absolutely.
to just say one thing. Feel like a queen. If I may, getting back to Zane, I was listening to Kelly's transmission, and I just want to end my story here. It was day 10, I believe, of the death code. And so when someone you love flickers the light in your house, or sends you a bird or a butterfly, it is not a coincidence. It is not your imagination. They're desperately seeking loudly to you. Boom. I realized a bird, a bird. I transcribed it.
That's the
Sometimes they
transcript.
give you a
It's right
bird.
here, folks. Proof. Right?
And I'm so grateful to be honored that you asked me, Jennifer. I feel like I'm ready to open up. I've um I'm learning from Candace in the soul journey she took me on this week. She had to keep telling me that's your consciousness talking, that's your performer talking. You got to go back to the higher self. And I didn't know how to, because I'm a performer. I go out there, out there, out there. And I went and she found me how to get to my higher. That's what I just want to say. There's so much coinky dinks going on, synchronicities, cosmic collisions. It's a wonderful magical mystery tour, and the wizardry of it is the magic. eh, And I think that's what Raphael is giving us an opportunity to explore.
Well, and that's what inspired me so much after talking to you is you were seeing and feeling and experiencing all the synchronicities and magic. You were actually aware and telling me all about the bird in delight and saying how all these things were landing on your lap and you were ready to receive them and to lean into them and to see how else that could dance with you in the harmony of what you were wanting to help share with the other people to help soften their hearts and bring them a little bit more joy and togetherness. So it all just, I loved your flow and your joy and your excitement and your delight. And so I just really appreciate you sharing some of that with us along the way in the midst of your journey. And your joy is infectious. So thank you very much, Cynthia, for sharing your magic.
Wow, there truly are no coincidences, huh? I mean, the chances and the testimony of the paper, it is just absolutely magical.
Gift from God. Gift from God. She had the proof right there. And honestly, isn't laughter the best medicine sometimes? I mean, that really was a treat.
Absolutely. So, everybody, thank you so much for being a part of our community. We want you to join us in all of the magic, all of the love, and all of the joy. If you want to continue seeing this stuff, please like it, comment, share, and subscribe. And next week, we have another guest for you, Leora. Jennifer, you want to say a little bit about what's coming up?
Yes, for sure. I would really love for you all to be able to tune in and get to meet Leora. She is building and creating this beautiful stuff in nature around her home with something called dome homes and green living space. And she has a gorgeous story to share as well. So please tune in and get to learn a little bit about more people in your community. We really want to highlight you, and it's so nice to be able to come together like this and learn about each other even more.
All right, everybody. So crack your heart wide open and love, love, love.
We live on 50 acres here, and I do daily walking meditations and sending love and light into the world and into various people at various times. And that raises the heart, the energy into the heart, and that's where I come from. And so it gives all the negatives that we're seeing, give us a chance to love more, to love harder, to love more expansively, to love with forgiveness, to love with compassion. And my name, Leora, means the light, and that is it. It is to be the light in whatever capacity that I can be. We're being so supported and so many and so much presence around us all the time. And I know we're going to make it and take it further.